It has been over 10 years since Christian Bale left the role of Batman, but Netflix finally gives him a chance to put his detective skills to the test. Welcome back, Netflix fans, to the first review of 2023. It is a brand new year, so you deserve a brand new review. The Pale Blue Eye hits Netflix tomorrow and sends us back in time to 1830 as we follow a world-weary detective who is hired to investigate a series of murders at the West Point Military Academy. Finding himself at a crossroads, Detective Augustus Landor requests the assistance of an intelligent and eager young cadet named Edgar Allan Poe. But do not worry, this is not a film about poetry and people do not speak in rhymes. But I find it really interesting to tackle a detective thriller story with one of the characters being the very real life person who essentially gave birth to the genre as we know it today, in a film directed and written by Scott Cooper nonetheless, a filmmaker who is often underrated and overlooked and yet consistently proves himself a master at creating atmosphere and transporting you into a setting. And he has an expert way of using framing, blocking, and dialogue to convey emotion, information, and even status between characters, which makes every single interaction in this film so interesting to watch as he brings us into this carefully crafted, grim 19th century mystery that is as subtle as it is tense. The tension all comes from Cooper's slow burn direction. He does a really great job at bringing you into this world to the point where you feel the cold the characters feel. You are an observer along for the ride, right next to Christian Bale as he interrogates and investigates and feels the frictions of the people who run the academy, as all the while around them more murders are happening and things are intensifying and seemingly going out of control. And the performances bring the subtlety. Everyone in this cast does a fantastic job at being understated, but at the same time interesting and compelling and leaving this air of intrigue about their characters, their real intentions, and the dynamics at play that often feel awkward and weird, but they always manage to grab your interest. Particularly Christian Bale, who plays this man who is tortured by a very traumatizing past and is coping with it as he investigates these murders. It is not surprising that Bale gives a fantastic performance, but one that manages to stand out in a stacked cast of fantastic performances with Toby Jones, Harry Melling, Lucy Boynton, Simon McBurney, and an awkward, over-the-top Gillian Anderson that is a scene stealer. But while the adventure is never short on eeriness and intrigue, it does ultimately ring hollow. It's not Cooper's worst outing, but his scripts, more often than not, undermine his work's ultimate potential. Cooper's characterizations and dynamics are always richer than his narratives, so he's run into similar issues repeatedly in his past work. The problem this time is the mystery itself, as it feels he writes himself into a corner, and instead of reaching an impactful climax, resolutions are met in solemn, yet drawn-out conversation that, while delivering compelling reveals, they don't necessarily feel earned. It is not contrived, but some early story directions become convoluted in retrospect. The final note the film leaves us on is a contemplative and fittingly somber one, but it fails to emotionally impact in execution with the power it might have on the written page. I know the film is based on a book that I've never read, so I'm not sure if these issues are also present in the book or if Cooper took liberties and focused on the twist, worked his way back into it to reach these perspective-changing reveals. I am an absolute sucker for the detective thriller genre, but the way the story is brought together through its beats, twists, and turns does sound better in concept than what the final result might convey. But as I dive into my final thoughts on The Pale Blue Eye hitting Netflix tomorrow, don't forget the fun part and share your thoughts on it in the comments below. Start the conversation, and if you enjoyed this review, there's an entire playlist of all my 2022 reviews on this channel, as well as links to my letterbox in the description below, and we have a full year of reviews ahead, as well as list content, best movies, worst movies, most anticipated movies. If you want to talk movies and TV, this is the place to be. So consider clicking that subscribe button and you won't miss any future conversations on your favorite movies and TV. While The Pale Blue Eye loses steam about 20 minutes before the credits, I still found myself absorbed by its gothic, wintry atmosphere and layered performances. Cooper's immersive and moody direction doesn't overcome a not-so-engaging script, but it manages to deliver a macabre, intriguing, and transportative experience. I'm giving The Pale Blue Eye a B-. And with that, the first review of 2023. Thank you so much for watching the first of at least 100. We have an exciting year ahead, so I hope you join me for all the upcoming videos. Big thanks to my channel members for always supporting the channel, and I'll be back very soon with more reviews, more lists. So until the next one, love each other and love the movies.